Hi everyone, it's Jerry. I'm on chess.com and I just challenged Computer Impossible. This is a 15-2 game. Let's start out with d5. I like seeing c3 as a start. Okay. Knight f3. All I'm considering right now is how to get my bishop out to f5 successfully. Playing it right away, queen b3 is an issue. Not a good way to defend against b6, so I may want to copy for a moment with c6. And now I'm in a position to at least meet queen b3 with queen b6. Okay. I've played the computer in this variation before, and I know that if I play bishop f5, it's most likely going to harass my bishop. Or even after bishop f5, there's queen b3, queen b6, and then knight h4. I could play h6, but preparing to meet knight h4 with bishop back, but that's not correct. Queen c2, I think, is a fine reply, stopping the development. So I think still, that said, I'm going to deploy my bishop to f5 right now. And I'll be content with giving up this guy for the knight. Okay. Well, so much for this idea of queen b3, knight h4 idea. So if I want to hang on to my light square bishop, I can do that. So far, I'm pretty happy with how things have been going. It's a slow approach in this early stage. Nothing too tactical is going to occur. Pretty static structure. Some fixed pawns. The d pawn's fixed. Symmetrical structure. So I'm just thinking about h6. Yeah, I'm going to go with h6 just to not allow this imbalance of knight for bishop exchange. I think it's still going to play here. Yeah, I've had it do this before in faster time controls, so it's still playing similar in this slower time format. I cannot win a piece with bishop takes, knight, rook takes, and then g5 because there's bishop takes, knight. So let's preserve this bishop. And this is just a little bit misplaced. Okay, so this was my idea behind c6. And I think this is a situation where we both would do well to maintain the tension. Having the a file open up is pretty good. So probably knight d7. I mean, where else is he going to go? Knight d7. I'm not doing this to defend my queen. I'm doing this to watch over e5. And I don't know that there's really much difference at this point between e6 and knight f6. I don't know. Let's just develop the knight. Probably just won't matter at this point, so okay. e6. And it doesn't really matter what the time control is against a computer. It's going to make a move every second or two. So, all right, let's get this in. So far, it's pretty much a symmetrical position aside from our queen bishops placement. Yeah. In fact, I'm a move up now because of this knight h4, knight f3 move. So it's as if I played this with the white pieces. So just castle, probably. Can't do without that. So yeah, pretty much everything's symmetrical. If he was right here, it would be completely the same. So, okay, I'm gonna move up. How can I try to put that to use? What would I like to have happen here? This is my bad bishop. That's always an idea to try and get this exchange in. Light square bishop exchange. This might be an idea as well, a5, a4, putting a question to the queen. a5, queen takes, knight takes. Huh. I don't know, like, for a moment I was thinking rook c8, but I'm not quite sure what that's even doing. You know, rook c8 with this an idea of c5. But if I'm breaking like this at the d4 square, I'd really like to have my knight here instead. So I don't know that moving this rook, and this is the only rook I'm considering moving. I want to keep him here in the event of queen takes, pawn takes. So, yeah. Oh, well, here's the other move. Knight here, knight e4. Maybe that's an idea. Offer some trades. Yeah, let's go for that. Knight e5. All right. Maintain the structure. Recapture with a piece. Maybe they do similar? No? Okay. So I'm going to back up, but this time not all the way to h7. I want to keep this square open as a flight square. You kind of step on one another's toes. Could be a problem with the bishop on h7. So now I guess it's being prepped here, this advanced c4. Okay. Do I need to play c5 myself? I feel like I've been here before in a blitz game against a computer. C5, queen takes, knight takes. Actually, my knight's unprotected, so I wonder if on c5 there's moves like bishop here. Probably not. Knight would go here. Maybe I could actually transfer my other knight here to the e4 square, knight f6, e4. I think it's a good strategy to get the knights off the board against the computer. So, I mean, I'm kind of factoring that stuff in, playing against a computer here. Seeing, get the knights off. It's tricky pieces. Tough to calculate, and that's where there's certainly an edge. The computer has an edge with the calculation. So knight f6 into e4. Suppose knight f6, c4. Let's say I just ignore it and play knight here. I think I like that idea. Let's just follow in my king knight's footsteps. Okay, I kind of expected that. And I guess just knight e4. Let's follow through. If it's a bad idea, it's a bad idea, but at least let's be a little bit consistent. Once again, maintain the structure, and will they play c5? No. Okay. Not sure what to do here. I'd like to see it close up maybe on the queen side. And I don't want to capture still. I'm considering queen b4 and then a5. Not sure what that's really doing. I'm struggling to find a good move here. I'm not sure what candidate moves I have. Giving up this central point, pawn takes, and then bishop here. I'm not so sure that I want to do that. Queen b4, a5, a4. On queen b4, if c5, I'll exchange then and then play a6. And then be quick to defend my b pawn should there be pressure with rook d8 to d7. Let me try. Yeah, let's try for this. Okay, so the queens are off. Oh, you know what they're going to go for? Minority attack. Bishop takes, there's f3, e4, and I have some concern about my bishop. Taking with the c-pawn, there's quick access to the 7th rank, therefore this must be best. a3 and b4 is going to happen, and I better stay out of the way of b4 with tempo. I do maintain pressure on this square. Okay, so they're going with this. approach. Huh. Rook to d8 and then here. Yeah, typical computerness. Rook b3, just putting pressure on it like that. My rook is accessible on d7 to bishop g4. That's actually a bit annoying. I could play f5, but then when the bishop drops back, f6, and my bishop's trapped. So how to defend this pressure against b7 is tricky. Huh. Bishop d8, rook b3, bishop b6, there's a5. Wow. In a tough spot. This idea of the pressure against this pawn, and I don't want to move this pawn either. It gives up a6, and these bishops will absolutely kill me. This is very difficult. It's a tough game. Tough game we have here. Huh. I wonder if I'm having to do something dramatic like bishop here. Pawn takes, and then I have the b8 square to watch over here. Yeah, I don't like this. I don't want to move this pawn. I think it's just not helpful. Yeah, here, rook b3, rook d7, bishop g4. I have to play f5, the bishop goes back, and what am I doing about f3 with my bishop being trapped? I think I have to go for this. And I think it will take, because it's seeing this as a positive, and it is, but I think I had to make that decision. Let's start with this rook here, and then prepare to defend b7 laterally. All right. Maybe sneak my king over just for a moment. Okay, so, yeah. Gonna be grabbing some space, are you? Okay, let's go back. g4 could hit with tempo. I don't want to play h5, put a pawn fixed on a light square. Probably not a good choice. And maybe I should try to get in my pawn to f5, although king g3 to f4. This is a very strong position for the king. It's double isolated pawns. This is going to be a nice home for a king. Huh. Should I be approaching with my king towards here? On g4, I probably want to maintain my bishop on this diagonal. Maybe I should be approaching with my king. Play rook b8 on rook b3. Let's go here. I think I'd be a bit happy to see this advance. I could sometimes misplay it, seeing it as a positive. Okay, I don't know that that's correct. I'm a bit happy to see that advance. Okay, I think king d6, a4. There's rook c5. Let's improve first. The king belongs here. Okay. Yeah, let's. Oh, you know what's gonna happen. Sacrifices. Oh boy. On a6, bishop takes pawn, pawn takes, rook takes c6, and yikes. Everything is hit. Wow. On f5, there's bishop d3. Ouch. If I'm to play f5, I need to defend my bishop. Yikes. Okay. Yeah, an a6 bishop takes pawn is going to happen. Okay. So what do you do? I don't know. Let's try this. Put my pawn in a pin. Here comes the king. Oh man. Now can I play a6? I better start moving. Let's do this, I guess. Yeah, that's such a strong king position. Huh. I mean, this move could be played. I can't take. Let's try a6 now. I have some defense for it. Yeah, there's also that move. Okay. Take. I guess. Oh man. Bishop d3 and then pawn push with the discovery. Wow. Where did I go wrong in this game? We're gonna find out. Okay, let's still try to put up some resistance. Rook here. Pressure on this guy at some point. Ooh. Alright, that's hitting right away, huh? Alright, I gotta come over. I'm a bit happy to see that move. Really? This is a bit weird. All the rooks are coming off? Oh, at the end you have this advance, don't you? That's what you have up your sleeve. And the king is just entering. King takes rook e5. I gotta take. And when I do, king e5, f6, g7, and that's it. If I take with the pawn, I'm dropping this guy. Also, my bishop has no squares, by the way. I'm playing without a bishop. It's another way to view this. Yeah, this is dead. e5 is hitting. Or that move. Huh. Okay. Let's get my king back over. And yeah, I still can't move. Yeah, I'm gonna run out of moves. My bishop has no moves. Let's put this guy up on a dark square. Huh. Let's take. I want to keep this square controlled. And now I have to make a concession with my king. And then e5 is still hitting. I got no moves with my bishop. Or pawns. It's up to my king, and I have to go in reverse, and it's never a good sign. Okay, yeah. This one's done. Why aren't they hitting with e5? Oh, okay. Well, they have the time to do that. King d4, and I'm yet again having to move my king. I guess here. Maybe this is... Oh, they're doing this. They're going to play it on 50 moves and then finally make progress. I know their tricks. All right, I have a king position. Watch out. Less than 10 seconds. Yeah. They're just toying with me. Toying with me. Yeah, I got nothing. Let's go back here. e5. Come on, just hit it with e5. All right, let's come over here. Oh, they just won on time. Yeah, this one's completely busted. Yeah. Time, forget about it. Doesn't matter. I'm in a tough spot. I don't know why e5 wasn't played sooner. I think the computer Stockfish will be pointing out e5 much sooner. Let me go back. I was just wondering. I didn't make a move at the end. My mind was on what exactly? I was wondering, is there a way that white could still make progress without even playing this advance? Yeah, just to force my king back and have the king enter and hunt down my b pawn. Yeah. The point I'll be curious about, again, I'll be checking this out with Stockfish very soon, but when we got to this point right here, I mean, is it already this difficult? Well, this was probably a bad idea, so there must be something better than queen to b4. We'll see what that move is. What would be better than queen b4, but when it did get to this point, after the capture, now this idea of a minority attack is a problem. Maybe rook to c8 is better. We'll have a look, but rook to c8, anticipating this capture and then being in a position to recapture with my c pawn. Taking with the e pawn, this idea of a later bishop g4 being disruptive to my rook, that was quite annoying. Computer makes it look so simple. Yeah, I'm definitely in rough shape here. After rook c3, what would the computer suggest at this point? I felt it necessary to do this, and it's just a complete disaster on the king side. Okay, well, yeah, it was a long road ahead, a very slow grind. I think the computer could have been quicker in the end with the e5 advance, but the advantage never slipped for white. Fantastic post for the king. My bishop is on this nice diagonal, but every square is controlled. He's, in a way, just not even existing. He's just, I don't know, staring off into space here. He's not inconveniencing the white side at all. Okay, let's dive right in. Let's see what we could take away from this with the aid of Stockfish. Okay, let's see what we could learn from this one. As expected, a pretty even position to be expected when we have a completely symmetrical position after about a dozen moves. Really? I didn't even consider g5 at this moment. That's what Stockfish wants to do. g5. And queen takes pawn, there's knight d7. I'm getting the piece. So on g5, I have to do this. And then I recapture, and then knight here with knight f6. I should have at least considered this. I threw it out the windows. I had in my mind, oh, queen b3, I just play queen b6, and I was forgetting that this was an idea. It's not winning a piece, but it is winning the bishop for knight exchange. Okay. g5, takes, knight f3, e6, let's just carry it out a few more. Knight f6, pretty natural. h3, g4, I'd be thinking at this point about bishop d6. Could even do something like this, playing with the bishop pair now, which is nice. Okay. I've had this position before in Blitz against computer. I will keep this in mind. Okay, queen b6. Let's fast forward a little bit here. Pretty even, pretty normalish moves. Even position for sure. And now it wants to play rook f to c8 instead of knight to e4. I played knight to e4 here. And this was right around the moment I said, I think I was expressing that I didn't see a purposeful move for my rooks. But I guess this is purposeful. I played knight e4. It'll still hold it around the same evaluation, but it's important to try and figure out the idea behind it. I'm assuming it's prepping this advance. White follows suit, and then c5. Okay, I guess this is the direction I need to go. What can we say about the difference between these two, rook f to c8 and knight to e4? Knight to e4, it's just welcoming more exchanges, trying to simplify the position. Okay, playing against a computer, maybe not a bad idea to have those knights off. I was saying that. But, maybe my focus should be, from an objective standpoint, just from trying to find the best moves. I need to do what? I need to finally get my rooks working. So a pawn break needs to happen, a half-open file needs to come about. It's even going towards c5 immediately. So, yeah, I guess this, huh? Rook f to c8 and then here. I mean, that's what white ended up doing. And I am a one move up, so Can maybe try and get this file open right away. This is what it has, a follow-up. Takes, and now c5. I don't know that I would have liked this. There's a difference here with, there's a difference here. If white is to capture like this, with the pawn still on c6, I like having this particular structure, b6, c6, and b7. It doesn't weaken the b5 square, but going for this variation where after rook here, chop c5, now I've given up the b5 square. So after queen takes, pawn takes, yes, I have the play for my rook, that's true, but I really don't like giving up this square. It's now a permanent weakness. And, there's, I don't know, it's maybe a long way off, but my fear is that some piece getting to b5 is just super annoying. I'd much rather have this pawn back just a step, and then I'd be fine with the double B pawns, but not with my pawn on c5. Okay, so here, knight e5 takes c5. I don't know that I would play c5 here. Okay, another suggestion now is knight d7 with the tempo against the bishop, and then c5. Okay, so this is different at least. Because on queen takes queen, are they taking with the knight? Yep, you could keep the structure as is. Maintain the structure. Okay, well that gives me a little bit of an idea as to how to make some progress here in this completely symmetrical position that we had, aside from the queen bishops. Alright, so I was in search of some exchanges, both knights coming off. Knight f6, they still wanting to do what? Okay, it's shooting for a5 here. I think I was pointing out this idea of a5, a4. Don't know in this very position, but I went in this direction instead. Both knights off. Bishop there, and now it wants to take. Queen takes queen. So yeah, I played queen b4, and it doesn't like that. It's not a huge shift, but it is a shift. I mean, up until this point, it's pretty much locked at 0. Queen b4, and now I'm in rough shape. Queen takes, bishop takes, a3. Well, first capturing. E takes, bishop back. And now, will it come up with rook c3? That's what the computer played. It's pointing out bishop g4 right away. On rook c3, what would I do? a5. Oh, why didn't I consider a5? Oh, you goof. a5, and then on rook b3, there's rook a7. Oh my goodness, why was I so blind to that maneuver? I've done this before. Not in a video, I'm not referencing some video where I've done this before, but just having the pawn on a5 and defending laterally like this, I was so locked into rook here to here. So, and it seems awkward. He has no squares. He's tied down, but at the same time, the rook on b3 is not so great. And it's a piece that could be dislodged as well with a4. Oh, that was so silly. I had plenty of time to, around this point, to formulate a plan. It's where I put in my biggest think after rook c3. Simply a5. Rook ac1. I mean, here's the other thing. I mean, this is useful. If I just saw this idea of defending the b pawn by way of a7, this is useful in not allowing the minority attack to come about so easily. Huh. That's a bit upsetting. Oh, are they calling for b4 right here? No, I read it wrong. h4. h4. Weird. What's the story with this? Rook b3, rook a7, bishop d6, and then here. Wow. That's a pretty deep move. Diverting the bishop off of this diagonal. just to crash through and get the super valuable heart of my structure. Wow, rook b3, rook a7. I have to give up something here. Or hit them with an in-betweener. Oh, they want to go for this. Wow. How about that? That's pretty cool. That's why I like checking out games with computer. It just shows you these different really opens your eyes to these different possibilities. Wow. I mean, he's without any squares. Bishop takes rook. King takes. You could get this rook back. Or just play in a way where you keep the rook right here and don't take it. Rook c1, rook a6. Suppose this move, trying to release the rook along the b file. Now there's bishop e7. No, now it wants to sack. Oh, that's going to get crazy. Wait a second. We weren't supposed to take back. Oh, bishop takes here. Wow, what a variation this is. Chop, chop. And then rook to a1. A takes. Rook takes b2. Yeah, sure. Even. Yeah, okay. Anyhow, I was completely blind to a5, rook a7, the a5 and rook a7 idea. And after this, it's just death. How else to say it? It's a crushed structure and a very slow and steady progress. Nice to see how the king was slowly improved upon, how my bishop was killed. Yeah, there wasn't really much I could do. I had no constructive plan at this point, and it was just a very, very slow grind. Just fast forwarding a little bit. Oh, let me see if I was correct with this sacrifice on b4 a6. Yeah, and I know the computer would go in for that. And not a fun position at all. I have an extra bishop, right? Not really. He's still not playing. Ouch. Yeah. So crawl up into a ball. And yeah. This is just good. I had a glimmer of hope. I just didn't see the idea after the rooks were off. But yeah, this guy is dropping. Bishop c4 plus 4, as you're seeing. Bishop here, king here. Or even throwing in a check first. Pick your favorite way to win at that point as white, huh? And this is nice. Bishop's under control completely. And eventually I have to give ground with my king. Was it calling out for e5? Right here, as soon as I went back with my king, e5? e5 would be fine as well. No, it wouldn't. Oh. I guess the downside... Oh, yeah, why was I thinking e5 was good? Oh, at that earlier point, instead of bishop c4, I thought e5 was better. But this helps out my bishop. That's one downside, and of course there's a tremendous evaluation shift after e5. He's at least free to do something. He has a square or two to go to. But what about e5 right here? Instead of bishop c4, is e5 good? Yeah, that's another approach. So I take, and he's just a beeline right towards the h-pawn. Yeah, so this was done for quite some time. I didn't see the a5 rook a7 idea. I needed to see that. Yeah, and it's just completely busted here. Time was irrelevant. I wanna just go back very quickly to this moment here with. Okay, I didn't see a5 rook a7, but was I right about this? If I played rook here, rook b3, and it's calling out for b6. I do not want to play b6. I don't know how I would eventually defend my c6 pawn. b6, look at how easy this is. It's just target practice for white. B6 and then c5. Okay. I guess that's how I would have to approach it. But this really isn't fun. Not at all. Bishop takes. Bishop a6. Playing against an isolated pawn in such a simplified position. This guy here is a liability. I have no attack. There's no dynamic play against the white king. Yeah, I wouldn't want to play with that structure. And if I was to do this, yeah, sure enough, bishop g4, and I'm already having to be accurate. It's a pawn disadvantage. Bishop c2, rook c3, and then f5. Yeah, okay. If I played f5 right away, it's probably a flat-out loss. Bishop d1, yeah, I have to get rid of a pawn here just to open up this square. Anything else, just f3 is trapping. Here, yeah, that's downhill as well. So yeah, I needed to see this idea of a5, rook a7. For whatever the reason, it didn't come to mind there. Anyhow, feel free. It's been a while since I played against the computer. I've only done it maybe a few times now with standard play. But anyhow, it's interesting to see how the computer could absolutely smash you. And that's exactly what happened. One wrong slip, and it's just a very, very slow grind. But as usual, hopefully there was a thing or two that you're still able to take away from this little beating. And feel free to leave any comments in the comments section below, and I'll catch you in the next video. That's all for now. Take care. Bye.